Aggressive orange jerseyed Sammy Sanchez. Another move coming off the front end of the main field, and once again it's the yellow jersey himself, Jorg Jacksche, controlling the front end of the peloton. I think this might be a move by Frank Vandenbroucke. That's why the yellow jerseys responded. Frank Vandenbroucke, the bad boy of the sport of professional cycling, has decided to try and challenge the overall leader.
In the bank, really. And here comes Frank Vandenbroucke, hotly pursued by the maillot jaune, Jacksche. And they're both going to come up to Alex Zula, and I don't think they're going to wait for him, because look at the way Vandenbroucke is building up for the pass. He's going to keep the pressure on. I don't think Alex can lift his speed here. But the yellow jersey, how attentive is he? He's got this race nicely under control.
Nicely under control. He's got to stay in contact here with Frank Vandenbroucke as they go under the King of the Mountains points. They take a nice little turn at the top, and they get a chance just to breathe for a few seconds as they begin the descent. Descent there for Sammy Sanchez. Now Vandenbroucke, he's going to take a few risks on this descent. This is a big chance for Frank Vandenbroucke. He could move up in the overall classification and maybe find himself moving up to second if he can just slip away from David Rebellin.
It's the last big chance too for Jacksche to show us his new skill. He's going to have to hang on, not take too many chances going down here. These are dangerous moments for a leader of the Tour. He hasn't made a mistake yet. The snow line getting thinner and thinner as we drop down to warmer climbs, but Frank Vandenbroucke has his own plan today. He's going to push on down to the bottom. Round about 8 kilometers to race now as they drop back towards Gap. They know what the finishing line approach is like. They've done it once, and Jacksche was the first there, don't forget. But a little bit of work to be done to pick up the leaders now.
Well, if anybody thought Jorg Jacksche was going to crack towards the end of this year's Parijs, I think this is a demonstration that he is still very attentive. He's still got a lot of power in those legs. Although his team now are looking just a little bit ragged on the descent down here into Gap. It's left all up to the yellow jersey to take the responsibility of nailing them down. Coming across the Gap, I just a few moments ago saw the green jersey of David Rebellin. He too needs to keep himself up at the front end of the bike race to hold on to second.
Well, Frank Vandenbroucke,
I think that's why we saw him disappear off the front end of that group, because he's not gone into that corner with a very nice line. This is Frank Vandenbroucke.
And there's Rebellin. You're right, Paul. He's come across, so he saved his green jersey at the moment, at least his high place overall.
Just see how slippery this descent is as they pick their way around there, but the yellow jersey completely in control of this counter-attack by Frank Vandenbroucke. And in fact, they might be opening up a bit of time over everybody else.
Check him out when he gets up to the line. As we're looking now at the leaders here, and Frank Vandenbroucke doing all of the work, trying desperately now to break away, but really there's not a lot of point anymore, is there? Because he's taking the top two men with him and they're not working.
Well, they won't work at all, but Frank Vandenbroucke, I think, just trying to move himself higher up into the top 10 now. He was a bit upset the other day when on the road where Alexander Vinokourov got himself a very nice stage victory. He lost around about 20 seconds, which dropped him down from 4th to 8th in the overall classification. I've got a funny feeling they identified Michael Rogers in this group. Now, he's been fairly quiet since the start of the race, and he too is the leading best young rider, and I think a rider we need to follow over the next couple of years, because he's seriously going to be a major talent in the sport of professional cycling.
Well, 20 seconds is quite frankly nothing at this stage of the race as we run down towards the finish to the three leaders. Rebellin also not helping. That could well be Michael Rogers down there. Certainly got a style like him. And Kim Kirken, the Luxembourg. About keeping control of Frank Vandenbroucke, who's really trying to rip them apart on the way down. Nobody helping him. He's just kept the pressures on. He's dangling about 20 seconds.
In there, Phil. In fact, his chain came off. This is the sprint now for 5th place. Jorg Jacksche at the front there, opening up the gas. He's trying to get himself across the line there. He just sits up as they come to the line. Looks like Kim Kirchen coming through as well. In that group as well is Frank Vandenbroucke, but there is the rest of the group not too far behind, and David Rebellin, ever present, is going to stay just in front of the yellow jersey, Jorg Jacksche.
And the yellow jersey, and in the Tour de l'Avenir where he didn't win a stage. He doesn't win many actual races, does he? But Denny Menchoff getting the victory, and the first 4 riders there in the same time. 24 seconds later, Kim Kirken does lead them home in 5th place ahead of Vandenbroucke, and Oscar Pereiro completing the top 10.